Okay, hopefully this is working. Uh, yep, looks like it's working. Alright, so, I know kind of a random video, but, I know I showed the reel of me checking this out. I just wanted to give, I guess a quick review of it. I mean, might as well. More content, more, more opportunity for me to talk. I don't know if people are gonna really jive with the book review, but I am trying to get back into reading. I used to love reading as a kid. Just a bunch of mostly fiction. I don't think not really a whole lot non-fiction because we had to do all those required readings in high school and middle school and whatever. But now I just want to learn more about. And the reason I checked this book out was to learn more about finance, but and stocks. Let me get going. More finance, more stocks. The book I originally wanted to check out was The Intelligent Investor. But that one, I mean, it was showing available, and I went to the one of the workers at the library, and I guess it became MIA. Somebody checked it out, but didn't like scan it out or something. I put a hold on that. I do eventually want to read that book, but this book I picked up. I just searched up on Google, looked up on Reddit, like recommendations for book, and this one popped up, and it was kind of in the same section. Okay, that was weird. Always got to keep an eye out. Okay, I don't know what that guy's deal was, but I picked up this book. I thought it would be a good read. Maybe something for me to learn. Holy shit, this road is busy. And it was kind of a good read, kind of not. So the book goes over psychology and money, pretty much. What goes into developing a healthy mindset and healthy relationship with money. And I definitely learned a lot of good things. It definitely changed my mind, how I think about debt. I think I've taken on a lot of debt for academic purposes, for like school. I've put like motorcycle purchases on my credit card. I think I've just had an unhealthy relationship and mindset about debt, even though debt has helped me to accomplish more than if I didn't take out those loans. Let me let these people pass. But there was a chapter or two about how debt has been used to improve the middle class lifestyle, especially starting with the at least in the U.S., starting with the Singer sewing machine, and how women were allowed to basically take out these expensive sewing machines, and if they paid $1 back a week, they could keep on paying that the purchase over time, even though the sewing machine was like a couple $100, or I don't know how expensive it was, but it would take them a few weeks to pay it back. And I'm trying to, like, I don't know what these cars are doing. You should be trying to get out of the ways. What the Okay, that's weird. They would buy these sewing machines, they'd have to pay back $1 a week, but because the sewing machine increased their ability to basically sew clothes, they were able to generate like something like $9 a day when they used the sewing machines, versus however much they were making before the sewing machine was out. And so they made $9 a day, paid $1 back a week. So, well, it was definitely like a good deal for them. And apparently, like, I'm sure we all kind of know this, but like money lending, loans, interest are all concepts that have been around for a long time, even like pre-biblical times, in a variety of societies like Europe, Asia, even back, like, I'm sure, like Egypt, Mesopotamia, whatever. wherever. So that was interesting to read about. It was also really nice to read about several stories. This is my biggest qualm about the book, is that the author, it was kind of weird. He included a number of different people that he talked about, kind of their financial journeys, their stories, how they've achieved a good psychology of money, a good relationship and mindset of money. I thought it was kind of strange, his admiration for politicians and big business owners. He talked a lot about how we can use their mindset about money and finances, and even if you're not like a politician in Congress or like a big business owner like Donald Trump, you can still use their false neutral. Gotta still pay attention, but you can still use their approach and mindset with money to improve your own lives. He really only talked about the good parts of those people, business owners, politicians. There are a few other examples, but he really did not even talk about how their mindset with money has been used for like negative things as well. When they achieve success, it's not necessarily because of their hard work, but they've exploited people and used negative business practices, especially like many CEOs, to achieve success. And he really did not talk about that at all, or even approach that. He painted these guys as kind of like heroes, people we can look up to, people we should admire. Didn't really like that, but I did really like some of the stories that he used about kind of like common, average, everyday people. He talked about a burn survivor, somebody who had 70% of their body burned when they were a teenager. Like it was a motorcycle accident. Motorcycle blew up in the basement, and it pretty much blew up in front of his face, like his entire front of his body. So that story was really good. I still haven't technically finished the book, but I'm gonna finish the last chapter and the epilogue, I think, or the conclusion, whatever that chapter is called, after like the last numbered chapter. But I'm gonna finish that. But I think I've got kind of gotten most of what I need from the book. So that was really good. I really like the common, everyday, like average American stories and examples that he used, because I think those examples are closer to what I can use and apply to my own life. And average, it's what most people can use to apply to their life, versus like somebody elected in Congress or Senate, or like a big CEO, business guy. How many people can relate to that person? They're like the top 5% or top 1%. Like it's not really applicable for the everyday person. Are there things that we can learn from those people who have achieved that level of success? Absolutely. But and there were good things from those examples and those stories, but it was a very much sunshine and rainbows approach and discussion about those people. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I mean, let's be real. The real life is much more complicated. It's much more gray instead of black and white. I would have appreciated a more gray approach to those examples. Would I recommend this book to other people? I would say no. And this book, it was written in the context of post-2008, the Great Recession, I think is the unanimously agreed name for that time. But it was written in the aftermath of that, and how he was looking at like how everybody got into the mess, and he framed it with the mindset of individual accountability, like accountability from Americans who took out the housing loans, who took out a lot of credit cards, didn't pay them back, which is, that's definitely something important. It takes two people to create a mess. But he didn't really talk about, he kind of mentioned the stuff about banks and the subprime mortgages and kind of the big players, the big banks that made it possible for Americans to take out such high, crazy loans and also not pay them back. Like individual accountability, absolutely, that's important. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. That's something I'm definitely trying to learn, especially with money now that I'm not making big bucks, but I'm making, enough to be able to afford my bills and put some money away. And I'm trying to fix some of the mistakes that I made when I was younger. We're pretty close to the library. I guess I can just finish this wrap up at the library. But would I recommend this book to other people? Yes. Police guy. Actually, I don't. It's mixed. I think it depends on somebody's age. If they're early 20s to late 20s, yes. But a lot of the information in the book is common sense. But it's nice for it to all be laid out. Just because something is common sense, he arranged everything in such a way that it was very tied in together, so it's kind of like all out there for somebody to look at. That was definitely nice. Kind of wrap up, I really liked his approach to debt. It changed my mindset about debt. Some of the examples of people that he used and stories that he used I didn't really like. So for that example, I think some of it is a little bit outdated, some of it is timeless. And for that reason, I'm kind of like iffy on recommending it to other people. But hey, if you want to learn more about, money and developing a healthy mindset about debt, money, like repaying it back, this is a pretty good book to start. First book I read in like 7 or 8 years, just because I've been so burned out with school, grad school, like a bunch of other, life stuff. Your late teens, early 20s, kind of generic stuff. So hey, if you want to read it, go for it. It's not an especially long book. It's like 200 something pages. I think 230 or 240. I took this book out thinking I'd finish it in a month. It's been like a week. I was reading like 1 to 2 chapters a day, reading it here and there during work when I had downtime. Didn't really take too long to get through a chapter, maybe like 15 to 20 minutes. So hey, if you want to read it, go for it. I'm going to go in the library and just finish the book up and kind of move on to the next book that I have in mind. Not my favorite book, not the book I originally wanted to take out, but hey, better than nothing. Psychology by Charles Richard. Alright, I'm going to wrap it up there. Do some reading, kind of chill out, pass time. Alright, but hopefully people kind of like this video, but I'm going to kind of cap it here. Bye-bye.